Hello and welcome to PPM6 TV. Today we're going to look at a slightly unusual bit of kit, which is a MOTU 112D. Now, when I first saw this in the MOTU range, I was a bit of a so what moment, and to be honest, despite being on the market for a couple of years, it's almost gone completely under the radar. You will struggle to find many reviews or comment even about the 112D. And actually, having had it for a couple of weeks, I think that's unfair. I think this is a real sleeper and a fascinating bit of kit. And so the question is, what's missing from a MOTU 112D? Well, the first thing is the D. The D very definitely stands for digital. There is no analog input or output from this box. So you might expect maybe an analog headphone output or just a couple of XLRs carrying some monitoring. There's nothing like that. I don't care because I knew that when I bought it, but so should you. So what I do is I hang a DAC off some of the AES EBU outputs. You've got 24 channels. Talking about single sample rates here to start with. You've got 24 channels of in and out on AES EBU, and it's a 25-way D connector, breaks out to four male XLRs and 4 female XLRs on each channel. You'll have to buy those separately, mind you. So that's the first thing. There is no analog. What there is, though, is a joyous plethora of digital. I've mentioned the AES EBU, and you'll see there are masses of ADAT inputs and outputs, and that enables it to do 24 in and 24 out at high sample rates. So you get up to 96K, and you connect up all of these, and you'll be able to get 96K in and out of this box on ADAT. That's great if you're a high sample guy and you want the full 24 channels. If you're not so interested in plugging in multiple opticals, then you have simple black and classic, one of the earliest and still very, very relevant connections, and that is MADI. Lots of boxes have MADI. I've got MADI on my RME Mixtacy, and that's one of the reasons why I bought this. And it'll support higher sample. It'll do 56 or 64 channel MADI at single sample rates, and they go down as you increase the sample rate. So that's pretty good news. And you've got your standard word clocks in and out. Down here, you've got two very interesting connections and one tedious connection. The tedious connection is USB 2. I think you'll get 64 channels in and out of the computer over USB 2 on that. And 32 and 16 at higher sample rates. But next to it over here, we have Thunderbolt. That's a Thunderbolt 2, so which is backwards compatible with Thunderbolt 1. So if you have any kind of a Mac laptop from the last few years, you'll be able to plug that straight into there, and that will carry, although I haven't done this, it'll allegedly carry 128 channels at simple sample rates, which is not, you'll agree, I think, not too shabby at all. So, if you just had a load of digital outboard gear and that, you're going to be able to get it into your laptop no bother at all. And in fact, getting your MADI into the laptop might be jolly handy if you've got a desk or a recorder with MADI on it. This would be a good way of going MADI to laptop, as it were. And last, but by no means least, given all of that, I probably wouldn't have bought this, but the reason I did is because of AVB. Now, fair play to MOTU. They have been plugging away at AVB. They like to put TSN, time-sensitive networking, on the end of the AVB. That's really what sold me on the box. So that you've got your AES, that's great. You've got your ADAT, that's great. You've got your MADI, that's great. You've got your Thunderbolt, that's great. But icing on the cake is the AVB. That will plug straight into a Mac. I think any Macs with a Thunderbolt connector. Nowadays you'll need an adapter, because you've got no Ethernet port on your laptop, but that will plug straight in. And then this can be 100 meters from your Mac down a Cat5 cable, and that's not shabby at all. Even better, you could connect that to an AVB switch and then start racking up the channels. I think this does 16 AVB streams. AVB breaks up audio into streams, and 8-channel streams. I think you can have different ones, but I think this will support 16 8-channel streams. That's a lot. That's a lot of connectivity. But you hang a switch off the end and you can get access to even more I/O, and you can start putting things 200 meters away, because you can go 100 meters to the switch and then another 100 meters to the other end. It really is a tasty option, and why I bought it. Even better, I can connect this to my PreSonus AVB rack mixer, and in the control panel at the MOTU end, I can send any of these inputs to the PreSonus, and likewise I can pick up all the PreSonus's analog mic amps and auxiliary outputs at that end, and I can interface them into this, which is really cool. I suppose if I'm doing what's missing, USB 3, but I kind of think the Thunderbolt balances that out. And of course, probably the most significant thing is Dante. But of course, MOTU are not Dante guys, they're AVB guys, and I'm not a Dante guy. I mean, I know most of the whole world is Dante, but with PreSonus coming into the market with a range of great AVB kit, and I've tried that. I'll do another video that shows this connected to the PreSonus. So what's missing? Well, not very much actually. I think we've just about covered the ground. It's just a fantastic heart of your system. I plug my RME into it, I plug my Mindprint into it, I've got an old shortcut editor with digital in and out, I plug that into it, I plug my computer into it. It just ties together all your digital stuff. So that's the back panel and the connectivity. On the front panel, you get a nice big screen and various meters and some buttons for loading snapshots. I think, to be honest, I rarely look at that, all that, because there's a great web app, and that speaks to what's inside the box. There is DSP in there. You get a 48-channel mixer, and there are some EQs and dynamics and stuff in there. It's not going to set the world alight, but it's very, very useful. The routing, though, is really marvelous. You've got just so many options with all those inputs and outputs. And MOTU's latest thing is the touch console, which is a touch-enabled version of this. This is all served from a web server in here. So there's a little app you can download from the Apple Store, and it'll find this on the web, and if you've got your iPad connected, you can control your mixer's got nice big fat fingery type controls. You can mix from an iPad, so you could mix your give it to your musicians, and they can mix their aux feeds into their headphones or whatever you like. So there is stuff going on in here as well as around the back, and I've got to say, I think their investment in hardware and software is paying off, and it's a really nice solution. I would say, 10 out of 10 for MOTU and the 112D. A very, very flexible system that you can put at the heart of your setup, route all your digital in and out of here, and get in a really nice software front end, and very accessible given its web nature. And really, what's missing is very little. Probably the Dante is the thing that you'll be crying in your beer about, but I'm not a Dante guy, and so I don't miss that. But maybe you do. I suppose, actually, just one more thing: optical MADI. Sorry. Two more things. Optical MADI is missing. Again, that's not a big deal. You've got your coax. At MIDI, I'd quite like MIDI, only because I want to connect this to my MADI mic amp and then control the mic amp over the mic amp's controllable over MIDI. Again, I'm not losing a huge amount of sleep. Maybe 9.5 then. 9.5 out of 10 for the MOTU 112D. What's missing? Not much. You should check it out. Thanks for watching PPM6 TV. Do come back soon. Thank you.